Hello and welcome to another nostalgia filled Magic the Gathering video. So we're now moving on through our series of videos where we're looking at a modern era product, and we've come from Cold Snap and we're moving into the Time Spiral block. So we've got the first set of the block here. Very complicated block as a whole, and actually I think all the individual sets are pretty complicated. I was lucky enough a few years ago to play the sets and the block as part of the I think it was called the Modern Flashback, the Year of Modern Flashbacks, something like that, which was on Magic the Gathering Online, and I got to draft this set and subsequently the block, and it is incredibly complex. Now this set has a backward facing theme and not a sort of nostalgia theme. Basically what they did was the sets were cast with different references to time, if you like. So you had, the first set of the block was backward facing and picked up on earlier sets, and we'll see how that worked in a moment when I go through some of the article on MTG Wiki, just to give you a sort of frame of reference for this, because it can get very complicated when you're opening these up if you don't have at least some point of reference to work from. So the Time Spiral set contained at its heart 301 all new cards, but in addition there was a subset on top of that of 121 time shifted cards. The time shifted cards had the same set symbol, but they were a purple colour as opposed to the usual black, silver or gold to represent rarity. Additionally, those time shifted cards, I believe, and we'll find out when we open these, were in old style borders. So they weren't like with the case of Cold Snap. If you got to open any of the theme decks of the Cold Snap era, they put in cards from Ice Age and Alliances in the modern border frames. I believe that these ones in this one, where there is actually specific time shifted cards in these packs, these ones are in an old style frame. Now you'll find a lot of the cards, even the new ones, reference previous cards in some way. They've got the hourglass expansion symbol, obviously to reinforce the time theme. But in addition to that, what you'll find is there's an awful lot of old school keywords in here. So things like buyback, echo, flanking, flashback, madness, morph, shadow and storm. And some creature type themes which are old school as well, like rebels, slivers, spell shapers, salads, that sort of things. In addition to that, there's some newer stuff, which is the suspend, split second, and what they also did was, I believe, they keyworded the flash. They keyworded flash. Ton of cycles in this. There's 20 cycles. We got mana costed suspend spells, buyback, flash auras, allied coloured flashback spells, rare split second, uncommon split second spells, 1 mana suspend creatures, common spell shapers, magi, totems, storage lands, rancor like auras, morph creatures, uncommon main phase matters instants, it says here, and 2 colour legendary creatures. There's also various cycles of slivers going on in the set, because slivers were a thing. On top of all of that, I'll try and keep an eye on maybe the money cards. I don't know how well I'm going to do. There's a lot to look out for here. I'm going to be sort of looking out for some of the keywords and abilities that I want to highlight. So it gets quite complicated. But I also have a list of the cost of the cards. But as anybody that watches the videos know, often that goes by the wayside, as we're sort of actually more focused on the themes of the set rather than how much the cards are worth. Obviously with any product, the price I suppose goes down as soon as you start opening it, but that's a different matter. So we're going to open these up again. I've got one of these, which is our tournament deck, which is equivalent of about 3 boosters and a couple other boosters, and I'm going to open the same amount of product in the next video. So as usual, a couple of videos that go with this. So I'm looking forward to this. It was a lot of fun when I drafted this online. I mean, required a lot of concentration, and I don't think I did particularly well, but it was a lot of fun. So we'll see how this looks. Okay, I might have to wield the pen knife to open this. I'm just going to go through this in the order they come. Hopefully the rares are towards the back, but we'll see what's going on here. So we have, first up, looks like a common here. We've got Cloud Chaser Kestrel. Drudge Reavers, which has Flash on it, and if you remember I mentioned that Flash had been keyworded for this set. So you may play this spell anytime you could play an instant. So it's got Regenerate on it. Goblin Sky Cutter. Cancel is in the set. So 1 and 2 blue, counter target spell. Penumbra Spider. Pentarch Ward. It's actually an enchantment aura. Assassinates in here. Thallid Germinator. It's a creature fungus. Fortify. Coal Stoker. Just trying to make sure this is all nicely in focus. Deathspore Thallid. Solarian Sentinel. Benelish Cavalry, which has flanking on it. That's an old school mechanic. Orcish Cannonade. Errant Ephemeron. So I recognise this card. This has Suspend 4 on it. So it's got flying. It's a 6 and a blue if you cast it, if you hard cast it. Flying 4/4. So it has Suspend 4 on it. So what you can do is for 1 and a blue, rather than play this card from your hand, you may pay 1 and a blue and remove it from the game with 4 time counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove a time counter. When you remove the last, play it without paying its mana cost. It has haste. Strangling Soot. So we've got Flashback in here. This is Flashback 5 and a red. So you notice it's different colour to its casting cost colour, which is 2 and a black. So with Flashback, you can play this card from your graveyard for its Flashback cost, but then you have to remove it from the game. And that destroys a target creature with toughness 3 or less. Cyclopean Giant. Savage Thallid. Screeching Sliver. Remember I mentioned that we had slivers in the set. Momentary Blink with 1 and a white to cast and with a flashback of 3 and a blue. Ancient Grudge, 1 and a red to cast with a flashback of green on there. Viashino Blade Scout with flash on it. Ophidian Eye. Moulder. X green spell there. Children of Corliss. Viscid Lemures. Ground Rift. Dreamstalkers in the set. Evil Eye of Urborg. So we're now moving on to uncommons. So this one cares about other eye creatures, or other non-eye creatures, should I say. Non-eye creatures you control can't attack. Whenever Evil Eye of Urborg becomes blocked by a creature, destroy that creature. So we have Death Touch on that. Barbed Shocker with Trample and Haste. Chronotog Totem, which is 3 to cast, and you can tap it to add blue to your mana pool. 1 and a blue, Chronotog Totem becomes a 1/2 blue Atog artifact creature until end of turn, and 0 Chronotog Totem gets +3/+3 until end of turn. You skip your next turn, play this ability only once each turn, and only if Chronotog Totem is a creature. Harmonic Sliver, Dirkwood Tracker, Calciform Pools. So there was a cycle of storage lands in here. So with these lands, they tap for colourless mana, and for 1 colourless tap you could put a storage counter on them, and then pay 1, remove X storage counters from the card, and then that would add X mana of any combination of the particular colour combination, because they're dual lands. So this one's white blue, the Calciform Pools, and they add that to your mana pool. Opaline Sliver, Wipe Away, has split second on it. So just to show you what split second, explain here. So split second, as long as this spell is on the stack, players can't play spells or activated abilities that aren't mana abilities. Basalt Gargoyle has Echo on it. So this Echo, 2 and a red. At the beginning of your upkeep, if this came under your control since the beginning of your last upkeep, sacrifice it unless you pay its Echo cost. That's very much an old school Magic thing. We have, I think that's, I can never say this one, Thesis, or Thesis. 3 and 4 black, that is. Destroy target creature. Its controller loses life equal to its power plus its toughness. It's got suspend 5 on it. So instead of paying its casting cost, you can suspend it for 5 for 1 and a black. So it basically means that it comes into play with 5 time counters on it, and then at the beginning of your upkeep you remove a time counter. Oh cool, our rare is a legendary creature. So Ith High Arcanist, 5 white blue legendary creature, human wizard. It's got vigilance, it's a 3/5. You can tap, untap target attacking creature, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and dealt by that creature this turn. And it has suspend 4 for white blue. So that's the first of our rares. So I think we get 3 rares in here. Yeah. We have Bogarden Hellkite, 6 and 2 red, creature dragon with flash on it and flying. It's a 5/5, and when Bogarden Hellkite comes into play, it deals 5 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or players. And then we have our third rare here from the pack. Sarpadian Empires, Volume 7. There we go. Sarpadian Empires, Volume 7. So cast it for 3. It's an artifact. Sarpadian Empires, Volume 7 comes into play. Choose white citizen, blue Camerid, black Thal, red goblin, or green sapling. 3 and tap. Put a 1/1 creature token of the chosen colour and type into play. And our time shifted card, and you can see, yep, it indeed has the old style border, is Verdaloth the Ancient, 4 and 2 green for a 4/7 legendary creature tree folk with kicker X. You may pay an additional X to play this spell. All other tree folk and saplings get +1/+1. When Verdaloth the Ancient comes into play, if the kicker cost was paid, put X 1/1 green sapling creature tokens into play. So we've got a couple of legends in here. Oh, of course, yes, we get 3 of these because it's the equivalent of 3 packs. So we got Faceless Butcher, 2 and 2 black. Creature Nightmare Horror. When Faceless Butcher comes into play, remove target creature other than Faceless Butcher from the game. When Faceless Butcher leaves play, return the removed card to play under its owner's control. And then we have Merfolk Assassin, 2 blue. Creature Merfolk Assassin, 1/2, tap, destroy target creature with Island Walk. And then we have our little insert here that always comes in these tournament decks, which explains a little bit about the set. The fact that we have Flash, Slivers, the returning keywords there, Buyback Echo, Flanking, Flashback Madness, Morph, Shadow, Storm, and then the time shifted cards here, and then things like Suspend and Split Second, which are the new stuff. Now what we'll quickly do here while we've got them, just put that to one side, is we'll have a look at our lovely artwork here. So this is obviously, because it's a tournament pack, you get a number of basic lands included in the tournament pack. And when we open up the boosters, it'll be interesting to see how the slots work out in there, whether there is now a basic land slot or not in these sets. If you remember, everything we've looked at so far, in terms of packs, often they don't have a land slot in them, a basic land slot in there. Or should I say a dedicated basic land slot. It's pretty cool artwork. I like the, if you can see it, let me get back a bit closer. It's pretty cool swamp artwork there. Yeah, one time I know some a long time viewer of the channel has requested I do a video on the land artwork, and I should really get around to doing that at some point, because that would be really cool. Here we go. No shiny foily stuff yet. This camera's doing a pretty good job of keeping in focus, actually. So you can... Oh, I think we've got something foily at the back there I can see lurking. Yeah, there's our foil land. So yeah, the whole thing's been foiled, the artwork area, and the, as I pointed out before, the sort of that marbled effect you get in the where the rules text would usually be. That's all foiled up there. And we also get these stats cards which started appearing. So this was a Hall of Fame card. Okay. So now we'll move on to our nice booster packs. Okay. So first up we have Errant Doomsayers, Rift Bolt, which has suspend 1. So 2 and a red to cast, and then it's spend 1 for 1 red. Ether Web with Flash on it. Assassinate. Amaru Seekers, Kithkin Rebel. Temporal Eddy. Havenwood Worm. Flash and Trample. Chameleon Blur. So fog effect there. Flickering Spirit, Gitu Fire Breathing, Flash Enchantment. So we're now moving on to our uncommons. We have a Paradise Plume. So for the cast artifact, as Paradise Plume comes into play, choose a colour. Whenever a player plays a spell of the chosen colour, you may gain 1 life. Tap, add 1 mana of the chosen colour to your mana pool. Oh, another one of the unpronounceables. The thesis, which we've seen earlier. Knight of the Holy Nimbus with flanking on it. And our rare is Sengia Nosferatu. Okay, so 3 and 2 black, 4/4 creature vampire with flying. 1 and a black. Remove Sengia Nosferatu from the game. Put a 1/2 black bat creature token with flying into play. It has 1 black, sacrifice this creature, return to play under its owner's control a card named Sengia Nosferatu that's removed from the game. So very flavourful card there. And in our time shifted slot we have Stormbind, 1 red-green enchantment. For 2, discard a card at random. Stormbind deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So yeah, no land in the packs. So it'd be interesting in our journey through Magic's history at what point, if at all, because we're only going to be going through to about 10th edition in here, well, on the the packs that I have, that's where we're going to end up, and it'd be interesting to see at what point there was a dedicated land slot in the boosters. So we have Coal Stoker, Dirkwood Baloth, Coral Trickster. So the Dirkwood Baloth is suspend 5 on it for a single green, and the Coral Trickster has morph on it, which I don't think we've seen a morph creature yet in this set. So 1 of the blue, creature Merfolk Rogue, it's 2/1, it has morph blue on it. So when we're obviously familiar with newer sets that have morph on them. So for this particular one, you may play this face down as a 2/2 creature for 3, turn it face up any time for its morph cost. When Coral Trickster is turned face up, you may tap or untap a target permanent. Ivory Giant has suspend 5 on it for a single white, and when you contrast that with its, if you hardcast it for 5 and 2 white. Deathspore Thalid, which we've seen earlier, we had one of these in our tournament pack. Another Errant Ephemeron, Mind Slash Sliver, a Thalid Shell Dweller, which has Defender on it and is a 0/5 for 1 green. Jorah's Time Bug, cares about suspend cards actually. Have a quick look at this then. So 2 to cast, creature, artifact, creature, insect. It's a 1/2. Tap, choose target permanent you control or suspend card you own. If that permanent or card has a time counter on it, you may remove a time counter from it or put another time counter on it. So it can play around with time counters. Jedit's Dragoons, Dread Return, has flashback of sacrifice 3 creatures. Paradox Haze, so they're moving on to our uncommons here. Enchants a player actually, as opposed to a creature. So enchant player, at the beginning of enchanted player's first upkeep each turn, that player gets an additional upkeep step after this step. And Undying Rage. And our rare is Moonlace for a single blue instant. Target spell or permanent becomes colourless. And our time shifted card is Soltari Priest. 2 white, creature Soltari Cleric, protection from red, and it also has shadow on it. This creature can't block or be blocked by other. This creature can block or be blocked by only creatures with shadow. So there we have it. Hope you found that interesting. It's pretty cool looking at cards that reference older abilities but aren't old cards in themselves, and cards that actually are old cards. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.